What is happening, everybody? trueeevil here, and today I want to talk about the Dreamscape event, and more specifically, whether or not you should be redeeming for keys. Now, this might seem like a weird video to put out on day 3 of a week-long event, but I'm at the point, since I max refresh the keys on the first 2 days, I am where you would be at on day 7 if you didn't redeem a single key at all. And I think it's really important to talk about how the exchange center looks, how the missions look right now, because, well, it's going to be the end of it when you don't redeem keys, so it's going to see whether or not it's even worth it at all. So let's first look at the missions. The first thing I'm going to point out, of course, is that if you do not redeem keys, you will not be able to do all the missions. Now, I don't agree with this, of course. I think everyone who does an event every day should be able to finish all of the mission events, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't think the final progression is worth that much. It's just an extra run and a couple of the RGBs. Now, of course, if you are able to finish the run and it will help you get something in the shop, you know, that is something to consider, but I don't think this is a big deal. What I think is a big deal, of course, is the exchange center. As we look here, the first thing I want to talk about is the mystery boxes. As you can see, if you add all of these together, it's about, I believe, 190 total on how many I have redeemed. A little bit over 190, so 34 off this. We're 3 away from getting 200. So of course the biggest thing to point out on that is that you are not going to be able to get enough of the currency from doing this without keys to max out one of the boxes. Now, this is really important because, well, I actually don't know what's in the boxes because it says chance to obtain. So I don't know if it's like a lot of other gacha games where there's a specific amount of, say, these 3 and a specific amount of these 3 in the box. And say, maybe if you finish out the Dream Lattice mystery box, will you get an entire lattice? We do not know this, and we don't know if it's actually a definite amount of things or if it's just RNG every time. Unfortunately, it says chance to obtain, so we don't know that. So what I've been doing, of course, is getting the crystals to pay for runs to get more boxes to help with the dream data exchange. Now, after 12 keys, I'm about roughly estimated at a negative 800 crystals, and, you know, it's really helped in terms of getting these boxes, but I would argue that it feels bad because I don't necessarily want the Dream Crystal Mystery Box, right? I'm only getting the Dream Crystal Mystery Box to help pay for runs for Dream Data Exchange and to help get more gold lattice shards. And it would feel much better if, well, I could just get the thing I wanted. Of course, I would have more fun. So I'm going to point that out there, that you can redeem this for more runs, for more Dream Data Exchange of those like little rocks to get things in here. And, you know, even though it feels bad on this, I've only gone for 4 lattice shards off of this, and that feels bad, right? I don't know how much I'll get. People have been giving numbers all over the place, and that's the problem with the event. Of course, it's RNG. So even though these are good events, I am getting a good amount of Etheria coin. I don't think the shell credit is actually good. Definitely not feeling good about the shell credits, but on everything else, it's okay. And the problem with it, of course, is, well, I've spent 800 crystals, right? I want my event to feel good, right? And it doesn't feel good knowing I've spent almost $10 worth of crystals on it. But that's not actually the worst part, I think. The worst part is, of course, the Dream Data Exchange. Now, what the problem a lot of people have been having with the events, myself included, is that sometimes you can't even get half of the event shop, and most of the time it's just a little bit above half. Now, as you can see here, that is not the case with this. Unfortunately, what they went with this route is people were complaining that they weren't able to clear out a shop. So instead what they did is they added multiple things into the shop so everyone can sort of pick what they want to go for. Unfortunately, what this ends up doing is that, well, if I didn't redeem keys, I would not even be able to get the one thing I wanted off the light dark runs, which I do the light and dark runs every time to get these, and I wouldn't get enough to get this. I'll probably get 5 of the 10 anima crystal points if I didn't redeem for keys, and I would get 35 gold fragments. Now, of course, the problem with this is although I know this is the best event in terms of what I've gotten, I know that this event has given me more than any other event before me, but it doesn't feel as great because, say, in the Dazzler event that happened in the first week of the game, when you get to the end, you get the gold lattice. You know you're going to get the gold lattice if you do the event, and it feels really nice. Unfortunately, here, I even though I might get a gold lattice if I get all these shards and combine it with what I get out of the lattice box, right? It doesn't feel as good as just getting a whole gold lattice. So I will say I hope they really change this shop around, because like when you do like a another gacha game, usually what happens is like their equivalent of a gold lattice, you get that at the end of doing the whole event. And you know, if you spent your time in the event over that week, you will get the thing. And that feels really good. Unfortunately, because they're giving it in crumbs, sure, if I don't spend any crystals on this, even though I don't redeem all of this pack and I don't redeem all of this, I will most likely get enough gold fragments to get a lattice. Now, the reason I said might is because, well, this is RNG. Everyone has been saying random numbers, and I can only really go with what I know I got, which is I got 4 out of 34, which is it feels really bad. It feels like a scam, and I really don't like that. So basically, you're not even going to be able to fill out the one box you want if you don't use keys, and you're not even going to fill out the one thing of this. Now, the problem with this, of course, is I mentioned this is the best event. The devs did not miscommunicate this. This is the best event we've had in terms of rewards. The problem with it, of course, is the reason we don't think that these events are great isn't necessarily because of the rewards. It's because we can't clear out the shop and there's RNG in the events. And what they did is, well, sure, everything else is better, but they added a crystal redemption part, which is very expensive. The only other thing I know about in this game where you can spend crystals to do another run is the AI arena, which is 30. So for the price of an Apex pool, we're essentially doing an RNG run that can get you pretty much way less than how many runs you could get off of just doing Grim Pursuit. It really feels bad in that terms. So I don't like that, but I am going to point out in the shop, you're not going to even be able to redeem one thing, most people. Now, of course, it's going to be different from everyone. Their runs are going to be different. But I have been getting double S on pretty much all of them. There's 2 of them I didn't get double S on, maybe 3, and that is because RNG. And one of them was actually from the safe route. The safe route isn't going to guarantee you a double S or an S even. So you got to remember that. There's still RNG on the safe route. And yeah, I think even though this event is great, it does the problem, but times 2. And that's the thing. People aren't going to realize that this event is better than the other ones, because what made the events not fun and feel bad is I can't get half the shop. And here, if I didn't redeem keys, I wouldn't even get a quarter of the shop. So even though I do know, I am a logical person, I do know this event is better. I know everything I got is better, but it doesn't feel good. And that's the important part, because a game is meant to be fun. And of course, MMOs, there are like a grind to it. But like in a gacha game, when I do events like this, even I wouldn't even call this event difficult, right? Because even in the Abyss difficulty, I don't even think the enemies do any damage most of the time. You can watch me today. I'm gonna stream my runs on Twitch. When I was streaming it yesterday, I just pressed auto and talked to chat, because like the enemies don't even do damage, it feels like. And that might just because my account is a bruiser account, but even then, right? It makes it so the event isn't fun. I'm just going through the motions and getting the rewards, and the rewards feel bad because I'm looking at all of this and seeing everything I'm not getting, which is, although I do know the options are very nice, I would rather them just not put things in the shop and I just can get everything. It would just make me feel a lot better, and I think the community would feel a lot better, because I do think that the people who are complaining about this on Reddit and stuff, if they are still playing the game, and they get to the last day and they see this, they will absolutely go crazy. And what I am doing this video for is not necessarily to complain, but to show people that, well, if you don't want to end up like that, you will need to get some of the crystal boxes to help you pay for runs. And I think that's going to be really important. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that. Hope it helps you, and let me know how you're feeling about the event. See you guys later.